My soul, how often do we misunderstand the nature of pain? We flee from it, fearing its touch, and yet it is through this very suffering that the divine calls us deeper into love. Pain is not to be despised, for it can become the instrument by which we are purified. The soul, like gold refined in the furnace, is made more brilliant through the trials it endures. To resist this process is to deny the great work that Spirit desires to do within us. Pain is a doorway, though it appears dark and narrow. When we enter, we are frightened, unsure of what lies on the other side. But if we walk through this threshold with trust in Spirit, we will find that it opens into a vast expanse of grace. The very suffering that seemed unbearable becomes the path to union with the divine. In this suffering is the fire that frees the soul, clearing away all that is false and fragile, so that only what is true remains. Our human nature recoils at the thought of pain, yet how often do we find the divine waiting for us in those very moments of deepest anguish? The soul in its distress cries out to Spirit with a sincerity and longing that is rarely found in times of ease. It is through pain that we are driven to abandon our illusions of self-sufficiency and recognize our total dependence on His mercy. In the depths of suffering, we come face to face with our nothingness, and there we discover the infinite mercy of God. Pain strips us of pride and striving, revealing the tender heart of the soul that seeks only divine love. How often did I plead with Spirit to take away my sufferings, only to hear the whisper that these pains were my greatest gift, the means by which I would come to know Him more fully. It is true that pain often feels like abandonment, but it is quite the opposite. In our agony, we are not abandoned. We are drawn into a deeper embrace. The divine, in infinite wisdom, allows suffering not to punish, but to transform. He seeks to free us from the chains of our own making, and pain is His hammer, breaking open the hardened heart. Dear soul, do not waste your suffering. Do not let it turn to bitterness or despair. Instead, lift it up as an offering. Our pain can become a powerful prayer and can be a means of transformation for others as well. This is the mystery of redemptive suffering. The soul that embraces its cross participates in the redemption of the world. There are moments in our suffering when we will be tempted to ask, "Why? Why have you allowed this?" But the answer lies not in the why, but in the who. We must remember who the divine is, a loving being who desires only the good for you. Pain teaches us patience, the kind of patience that is not passive, but full of trust. It is the patience of a soul that knows, deep within, that this life is but a shadow, and that the eternal joy waiting for us far outweighs the temporary suffering we endure. As we bear our crosses, we are reminded that the weight of our pain is light compared to the glory that is to come. And so, my beloved, let us not fear the trials that come our way. Let us not curse the thorns that pierce our flesh, for it is through these very wounds that the Lord Himself enters in, healing us, sanctifying us, and drawing us ever closer to His sacred heart. The mystics knew that pain is not the end, but the beginning of a deeper life with God. And if we embrace it with humility and love, it will lead us to heights of union with the divine that we never imagined possible.